Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams with Blue Book MKE, and let's level up your business 5-day challenge online course. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to get your business set up for the best chance of success. This is an exercise that I do, and it really helps to be able to kind of understand the process that you're going to have to take your business through to be able to be successful. Now, I must admit, when my wife and I first started our company back in 1990, we kind of accidentally did this. I've recently learned that this is actually something that they teach in Harvard Business School. Like, they actually teach this, and I've been reviewing their videos, and I've been kind of seeing how we can apply it to, mom and pop type businesses, or, online businesses, different types of businesses that I come into contact with. And it could be tech businesses also. But this is a process that I think that if you can kind of latch on and kind of understand what I'm going to walk you through, that it will help you be able to, number one, get your business off the ground. Because I see so many business owners where they start a business and they're not even able to really make any money with that business. Like, they continue to struggle. It's like they're all over the place. And so this will kind of help you kind of get focused. And I can let you know that using this information, if you really pay attention to it, it's going to really open your eyes to the possibilities of, number one, being able to show that your business is different, and being able to really protect your business, because competition is watching. So you got to always be a step ahead of your competition. So one of the things that I teach in my 5-day challenge course is that I talk about a 1, 2, 3 step, because most businesses, this is their problem. Like, most business owners, what they'll do is they'll get everything perfect for the business, and then they never look at how they're going to actually bring in business. But they think about it like, well, I'm going to open my doors and people are going to come in, or I'm going to run ads and people are going to come in, or I'm going to do this, all of these different things. And so they're like spread it out thin. And when I look at all of the successful businesses that I started, and then look at the ones that I started that were not successful, there is like a 1, 2, 3 process in that business. Some of it is the things that you do to get the business ready. But then there's a process that that every business is gonna have to go through. I don't care if you're if you're a daycare, if you're a car dealer, if you're an attorney. I don't care what type of, like a storefront, whatever it is. There's gonna be this 3-step process that you're gonna have to go through, or your business will not exist. And it doesn't matter how much money you got. It does not matter how much money you got. The more money you have, if you don't do this 3-step process, the more money you have, it just takes you longer to go out of business. But you will be going out of business from day one when you open your doors. In my hometown, I saw a dental office open up. Had all of the equipment, everything, the signs, everything. They only lasted 1 month. 1 month. And that's because they did not do what I'm about to show you right here. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail because we don't have enough time for it here on this video, but I'm going to give you like the framework around it and what you need to prepare yourself for. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you don't need everybody. You don't need everyone or everybody. Put that in your mind right now, that you don't need everybody. Like, you don't need everybody. Repeat it after me. I don't need everybody, because everybody is not your customer. And if you think that you can get everybody, you're already going the wrong direction with your business. So the next thing is that you need to set up a process to where you can really put your business idea to the test, to see if you do 3 things. Number one, you present your offer. Number 2, people respond to your offer. And number three, people buy your offer. I know that sounds so like, well, of course, Steve. When I open my doors, this is what I'm doing. When I run ads, this is what I'm doing. But this is what most people do. If you have money, if a business has a lot of money, they're just going to throw ads out there and they're going to think that that's going to work. They're not going to have a process, like a 1, 2, 3 process in place to see if what they're doing can work on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis, year-to-year basis. And yes, it can change and vary, but you need to get that first thing in order. This is what my wife and I did. When we started our publication in 1990, number one, we already knew that there was a market that existed because at that time, during that time, the newspaper industry had kind of expanded with the free publications because computers were readily available, were coming readily available. The prices that went down, software was being made, and there was a market that was out there of people, business owners, small business owners, who could not afford to advertise in daily papers. So the market was there. So you got to always know that you got a market. But then the 1, 2, 3 process that we did on accident, but you need to implement something like this for your business, and there's ways to do it for every business, is that we presented our solution to people. Like people are not going to buy anything because you want them to buy it. It has to benefit them in some form or fashion. So we presented our opportunity, and then the next thing what we did is that we took the lead, and we knew that when we presented it and the people were interested, so that was where we understood that people were interested. Back then it was just, they showed interest. Now I call it lead generation. And from that lead, could we close that sale? Like, we didn't go out anywhere. As a matter of fact, we focused only on small businesses. We did not try. At the beginning, when we first thought about it, we were like, we can go to this big company, that big company, a bank, all of these different places that we don't see advertising in the daily paper. We can go to all of them. But then what we ended up doing is we ended up making that smaller. Making that group smaller. And we went to only small business owners. Very small, some of them were home based. We went to we condensed it. And we said that if we could do that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 over and over again, present, lead, money, present, lead, money. That's what we're going to do. If we can do that, we can make this thing grow and work. And that's what we did. Here's the crazy thing. There were other people who started papers at the same time. Like, it was just a boom. In our area, there was over 36 publications that opened up. Guess how many of the 36 publications that opened up at that time are still in business? 0. Now, print changed, but it's way different. I'm talking about at that time, like during that period of time, over that 4-year span from 1990 to 1994, almost all of those free publications had went out of business, and it was because they focused on trying to get everybody. The only thing we did is we made a slight adjustment, and we focused on getting the small, really it was the extra small businesses, the extra small businesses with a 1, 2, 3 step, and that became money. And then what we ended up doing is we took that and just expanded it into the market, that 1, 2, 3 step, to more of these types of businesses, which are right in here. But what started to happen was that some of these other ones noticed and they came to do business with us. But one of the things that I've learned, and one of the things that they teach in Harvard, is that you still, even though you're going to have these people pop up to do business with you, is that you have to be very careful, because those groups are not as sure and is not the foundation of your business. And there was another thing that just came to my mind right now in this video, was that when we were building our publication, what we did is we built a foundation of advertisers. And these advertisers, which I'm going to get into a little bit more about protecting your business, is that this group of advertisers would stay with us through thick and thin, rain, sleet, or snow. They had to be with us, and I'm going to go into the reasons why on that. But part of that was because with this 1, 2, 3 step, what you're doing is that you're distinguishing yourself from other companies that are just going after the big fish. We went after the people and made them feel special. And so we were always had this group. We always had that foundation, but we also got, some icing on the top from some of the other bigger advertisers. So now, but you want to always make sure that you remain the same and always serve your group, and then you can expand out. And in my program, I talk about different ways that you can expand out by offering different products or services, but you always have your core product or service. And if you look at businesses that are out there today, even major corporations, they all have their flagship product and they build out off of those services or product. The next section we want to go into is for your company to remain out there in the market. Now, my first company that was successful, we're going into 34 years. Yeah, we've had to change some things around, but I think that speaks a lot of what my wife and I were able to do, is to have a company that's been around for that many years. And now we have other companies that we started, and one of them is another one that's very successful, is about to approach 20 years. So I mean, that right there shows that this information that I'm giving you is credible, and that it stands the test of time. And all of those businesses have this 1, 2, 3 methodology behind it, like tested, tried and true. There's a foundation. There is a system for present, lead, sale, and it just changes to one of, the other ones might be dealing with consumers, one of them might be dealing with businesses, and it remained the same. And we had other products that are within that, or other services that are within there that we made more money on, but we still remain the same with our flagship. Now let's get into this section here. For your business to be able to stand the test of time, there's a lot of things that you got to do. Budgeting, staying fresh, all of that type of stuff. You got to be there. That's important. But this is some things that came to mind that you got to pay attention to, is that, and especially what's happening now. It was happening on a smaller level in the past, but it's really happening huge right now. So to protect your business, I call it the PDS. What you got to do is you got to put things in place to protect your business. The number one thing that will protect your business is remaining right here with your quote unquote loyalty to your foundation. Build that foundation, because that foundation, number one, it's a weird situation. Because you were loyal to that foundation for whatever your product or service that you're building is, that same foundation will be loyal to you to a certain point. To a certain degree, they're going to be loyal to you. Now, it's kind of changed with the way that business is being done now, because things are changing at a fast pace. And that's why I want to talk about the next thing, is being disruptive. Now, this is the part that actually kind of caught me by surprise with one of my businesses. Disruption happens all the time with businesses. Like, and let me give you an example. With print advertising and TV, radio, those advertisements got disrupted by online advertising. At one point, online advertising was taking a lot of money from TV, radio, and print. Now it's kind of circling back, because people are finding it hard to really get the results that they want from online advertising. Not to say it can't be done, but it takes a very unique skill set on being able to do that. And I do teach people how to do that. But the disruptive, another one was like taxi cabs. They got disrupted by Uber and Lyft and those. Like, it's like you took our business. How can we compete with you when you don't even have to buy cars? You don't even have to have employees. So that's disruptive. So you got to make sure that your business actually is disruptive. Like, you got to look at it and be like, okay, what can we do that is going to really put it in our customers' mind that this is something that is significantly going to make a difference in their life. And you have to do that. You have to sit down and write and do it. I'm working on upgrading my tech. One of the companies I own is in technology, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through this, and I'll write and I'll be like, is this disruptive? And it'll be like, no, well, that was disruptive a few years ago. You need to come up with a better idea on that. And so I continually write. And when I'm doing that, all of a sudden my mind, I see, well, hey, that right there is disruptive. That's disruptive. If you do that, that's disruptive. And then another thing on protecting your business is that you can do things that will not allow your competition to be able to take your customers away from you. Your customers may choose to do business with them, and that was one of the things that happened with my publishing business, is that they were like, we're not going to not be advertising with him. And as a matter of fact, sales reps would end up calling our advertisers, and they would say, well, you don't got to leave them. You could just, get to more people with us. And we would actually use that same sales tactic when we were called around. So that's one of the things. If you could protect your business by making sure that you have something that they're just not willing to let go. And you can do that, but that's going to take some thinking. Disruptive, we just talked about that. And then solving a problem either faster, cheaper, or you streamline something. Like that, people pay for solutions. Like if we're looking at everything from right here, if we were to just say, what's the bottom line of all of this? We're dealing with the customers, we're dealing with some of the larger customers. At the end, what they're looking at is you're going to solve a problem for them. And is your problem that you're going to solve more than the money that they're going to give up? So if we were to look at it like this, if you were to just put this picture, on a piece of paper, and you say, this is your company, and this is your customer, and then here is your solution. So you want to get money, you want the customer to pay you money. When the customer pays you money, you're going to give them the solution. And the solution helps the customer, so they're happy. But this is what's actually going through the mind of the customer. This is what's going through the mind of the customer. The customer is thinking this way. That's how you're thinking. This is how the customer is thinking. They're like, here is my money, and they're going to give their money to you. Here's the solution / result, because they're going to want a result with the solution, but this is the money to your company. This is how they're thinking. This is how they're thinking. I'm going to give you this little money, and that money could be a lot of money. So if let's just say they're going to give you $10,000. I'm just telling you, they're giving you $10,000 in their mind, in the customer's mind, the solution, depending on the product or service, or it could be where they're buying something like an investment. They're thinking that this $10,000, in their mind, they might be being unrealistic with $50,000. I'm just telling you, if they're paying $10,000 and they're getting surgery, like they're trying to get the fat taken out of their stomach, that right there, the $10,000 in their mind with how it's gonna make them look is like they're getting $50,000. You do let's say they buy a car, and they buy a car for $100,000. The car is worth $100,000, but when they go around the people and they're driving that car and people are looking at them, they might feel like they're $1,000,000. Have you ever heard that saying? Like, I feel like $1,000,000. Because that's what they're thinking. They paid $100,000, but people are looking at me, say they got a Mercedes or Rolls Royce or whatever. People are looking at me like I'm $1,000,000. So that's how people are thinking in their mind. So when your problem is solved, when you're looking at defining the solution of your problem, of the problem you're solving, this is what's going through their mind. But when they're about to give you the money, this is what's going through their mind. The exchange. And the exchange always has to be up here for the amount of money that they're giving down here. A lot of people don't think it's fair. That's why when, like I'll give you an example. With my consulting services, what I do is I say, okay, which level you want to be on? Like I just did one yesterday. And I was like, okay, for me to do that service, for my time, for what I know how to do, for the guaranteed result that I can get you, it's going to be $5,000 for the month for that consulting service that I'm going to give you. But when we add up the type of money that you can make, I was like, how much is a customer worth to you? Well, a customer, I can make like $15,000, $20,000 from just that one customer. So if I put things in place for you and it's $5,000 and then you put a little, put a couple of $1,000s for your advertising budget, and I get everything set up, everything in place where it's streamlined, you can continue doing your job. It's not going to disrupt what you're already doing. This is going to be an addition, and then you're going to be able to get trackable, tangible results, so you can see that this is working. And if you just got one, it could be $15,000, $20,000. What if you get two? Then you got 24 to 15 to 20, whatever, 30 to 60,000, whatever it is. I forgot the number. But and what if you got three? What if you got four? What if you got five? They would probably be like, you gave me a deal. I got a deal. That's what do everybody want? They want a deal. They want to buy expensive because they feel that expensive is worth it. But they still want a deal. Reason why they want a deal is because they're matching that up against the value of what the end result is going to be. Like, this is very important. When I start to do this, I start to be like, hey, what we're doing is not good enough. We need to, and it's not all about trying to stack all this stuff on top of giving people stuff for free and all that. No, it's about clearly defining what you're going to do and how you can get that result to that person. So if they spent $5,000, this is how we're going to turn your investment of $5,000 in your business into $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And does that look logical to you? It might feel like it could happen, but let's think this whole thing out, and I draw it out for my clients before I end up working with them. And I'm like, this is logical. This could really happen if you have things in place. But the first thing, when I don't care who I work with, the first thing I want to look at is I want to look at if they got this stuff in place. Some companies have this in place, and all you have to do is just get them more of here, which I call this more advertising. Some companies don't have this in place, and I'm like, we got to get this in place, because if you don't have this in place, you really don't have the opportunity to do this to people, because you're not going to be able to present it to a good segment of people that's going to care about your business. That's why people can start thinking like, my product or service, it's just not going to work. That's because you didn't do the work right here. Do the work right here, you will really find out if your product or service will work. But first, at the beginning, before you even do this right here, you need to just really say to yourself, do I have a product or service that people want? All right, thank you for your time. There's links below or above this video. You can check out my course where I teach you exactly how to do this. I teach you how to advertise on multiple online platforms. I even talk about advertising on print, mobile apps. But I'm going to show you in detail how you can work this out for your business, regardless of what business you're in, how you can, number one, have a 1, 2, 3 step in place that works. a process in place. I teach this. I've done it for my businesses. I prove it to you that it will work for any business that's out there. So the link is below or above or below this video. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of Blue Book MKE.